Hello, folks. My name is Paul Gerard. I'm with Atlas Ocean Voyages. I am Senior Director of Sales North America, leading a small sales team of soon-to-be 5 people, which mirrors exactly how many ships we'll eventually have. We have 1 in the water, 1 debuting next July 15th, and then 3 more that will follow in the next 2 years, so that by 2023 we will have 5 sister ships sailing the world. And so off we go. So we are headquartered in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, as a few other cruise lines are. We're a new all-inclusive Luxe-Adventure travel brand. So we're not just a cruise line, we're really providing an intense land experience throughout the world. Small ship, so we're about 10,000 tons, just a tad under, carrying less than 200 people. We carry 196 in what we call warm water and 186 in cold water. The difference between the two is that when you go to Antarctica or the Arctic, places like that, you have to bring staff with you that provides the trips ashore. So whether that's the Zodiac captains, the naturalists, that kind of thing, all of those folks have to come along with you because nobody lives in Antarctica and that kind of thing. It says that World Navigator will debut in the summer of 2021. It did already, and we're on about our 8th cruise. So Luxe-Adventure, what are we talking about when we say luxe as opposed to luxury? What we're trying to convey is that we're not a in-your-face luxury product with the big chandeliers, the grand staircases, and the formal nights. No, that's not us. What we are is that subtle elegance, and we're very casual, very relaxed, and that's how we feel people want to go to these bucket list destinations nowadays. And so the foundation or the core of the pillars right in front of me of that brand, of our brand, is that we are inclusive, all inclusive all the way, to include airfare from economy airfare from 15 gateways in 2021. We're expanding that to 30 North American gateways in 2022. We're an inclusive community environment, the Luxe accommodations, which I'll show you here shortly and you didn't see in the video. In addition to the traditional classics that one has on a cruise ship, the fillets, the lobster, thermidor, you name it, on the other page of the menu, so there's the classic right-hand side of our menu in the dining room. The left-hand side is regionally inspired cuisine. So as we cruise different areas of the world, the guests can experience that on board. And we're very immersive in our shoreside experiences. So I mentioned all-inclusive. What does that mean with regard to Atlas? So the bullet points on the left detail that. So we include the economy airfare from those 15 or 30 gateways that I mentioned. In the case of Antarctica, we do a private charter jet that we have based in Orlando that will fly direct to Ushuaia, which is at the tip of the South American continent, and that's your access to Antarctica for just about all cruises that use that. South America as their launch point. We have all of our landings are included in places like Antarctica. That means going ashore in the Zodiacs to get on the actual ice shelf. We include at least one complimentary excursion in every port we go to when we're not in Antarctica or the Arctic. We've got the water toys like kayaks and paddle boards. Those are included. The gourmet international cuisine that I detailed in the last slide. Unlimited premium pours of wine, liquor, and beer. I mentioned those 2 water taps. So those taps are filled with either still or bubbly water, and we give every guest a reusable aluminum bottle that reduces plastic. So we're very conscientious of that fact, and we're trying to make sure that we're not making that worse. We include, of course, gratuities. All the gratuities are included. Butler service comes with our suites. We'll talk about those shortly. Standard Wi-Fi is included. L'Occitane bath amenities, as mentioned moments ago. And we also include emergency evacuation and return insurance, which is a requirement when guests go to Antarctica. But we're not only including it there, but all across our brand. So anywhere we go, we include that. Our ship was just built and built in times of the pandemic. So there's a lot of little touches on board that we've been able to incorporate to make sure that we're going to have guests be safe in the future, but also in the planning process for building these ships, we've used conscientious about the propulsion. So we use propellerless hybrid propulsion, and we have anchorless positioning so that we don't disturb the local flora and fauna. So World Navigator's built to keep up with the ever-changing and ever more restrictive protocols so that we're not endangering any environment out there. So I mentioned the ship size. We're slightly under 10,000 tons. We carry the 196 in non-expedition, 186 in expedition. That gives us a one crew for every 1.4 guests. That's a very high guest to crew ratio. We have 98 staterooms, multiple dining options. I'll detail those shortly. 2 main lounges. You saw the Dome and the Atlas Lounge. We've got a heated pool and hot tubs, the fitness studio, and the Luxe-Adventure Sea Spa. And I didn't mention there's down on deck 5, where the bow of the ship is, you can go all the way to the forward and be just a few feet above the water. We'll have heated benches there for Antarctica so that we'll be able to get very close on the ship to some of the things that we'll be seeing all over the world. We essentially have 3 categories of ship. 3 different categories of suite. They range from about 430 square feet to almost 500 square feet. They have the separate sitting area and the separate bedroom. The bathrooms in these rooms are double bowl vanities. Most of the rest of the vessel are these 2 veranda categories. On the left, the traditional cruise veranda, and on the right, sort of a hybrid veranda that's been popular on the river cruise world that's starting to inch its way into ocean cruising. You can see the difference visually. On the left, the veranda is a typical, totally separate, outside the stateroom veranda or deck. Sliding glass doors allow you to go out and have your 2 chairs and a table there. On the right, that top glass pane slides down with the push of a button to create a railing where that black line is, making effectively your whole room a veranda for the times you've decided to do so. The byproduct of that is, while you don't have the separate outside area, you've got more space in your room. So you decide which is the one that you want, but we give both choices. Again, about half the veranda categories of the veranda one, which is the one on the left, half of the horizon, which is the one on the right. So one more category that does not have a veranda. This category, we have only about 10 rooms. And in Antarctica, we actually put our staff in there. So the gentlemen that are the Zodiac captains. Zodiacs are those rubber boats that bring you ashore where there are no docks, where you make wet landings sometimes. You have to step in the water. We have the boots, of course, for that. We're going to convert this room after Antarctica into a solo category. We think we'll be the first luxury product to have a category just for singles. So you will not pay a single supplement on this room. The price that will be shown will be the price for a person, and a person is what will occupy the room. All of our staterooms have queen-size beds, large TVs, Bluetooth connectivity, fully stocked refrigerator, digital safe, the marble bath with the shower that has jets everywhere, hair dryer, robes, slippers, daily makeup of the room, 24-hour room service, and the complimentary Wi-Fi. And again, they give you a peek at the bathroom. That would be a double bowl vanity in the suites, giving you a bit more space in the bathroom. We saw the gym and spa in the video, so I won't beat that one. You do see that we have the fitness classes that are offered as well, a picture on the right. And of course, we saw this on the video as well, the sauna, the relaxation room, and the treatment facilities for the Luxe-Adventure Sea Spa. Again, this is the Dome, where not only do we have the great viewing opportunities, but we do high tea there in the afternoon. We use it for entertainment venue in the evening, and also pre-dinner, post-dinner drinks here in the Dome. Entertainment. So we won't have the big production shows per se, the Broadway style production shows, We're a little bit too small for that, but we will have the piano players, the performers. We had a woman who had been the lead in Cats, Joseph and Les Mis on Broadway, who performed songs from those plays during the cruise I was on. She did a few cruises. Again, we have lecturers, so we'll bring different entertainers on during the course of our itineraries. Like just about every ship nowadays, we do have the alternative dining choices. So we have our main dining room. 7 aft is out by the pool, and in the daytime at noon, she serves hot dogs, hamburgers, sandwiches, salads, that kind of thing. In the evening, it turns into a small steakhouse. The grill that we have sort of is in the style of like the Ruth's Chris, very high fire grill, very wonderful evening meals there. No charge, you just have to make reservations the day of. The Dome provides a light lunch. Paula's Pantry is what you saw in the video, that first dining spot. It's a grab and go. I would liken it to a Starbucks. So in the morning, you have not only the various coffees and lattes and that kind of thing, but breakfasty fare, the breakfast sandwiches, donuts, pastries, juices, things like that. Around noontime, it would switch over to sandwiches, salads, more of a lunchtime fare, just like Starbucks has stuff at that time of the day. So it's, as we say, it's a grab and go. And then we have complimentary room service throughout the day. The next slide to come up. Oops, we went too far. That slide, I can't go back, I'm afraid, is showing the different levels of shore excursion that we have. And so if something is very strenuous or has a lot of walking, we will warn the guests accordingly. So if you're very adventurous and want that kind of thing, you'll be able to choose it. If you're not wanting a lot of walking, you'll be able to pick a shore excursion that has less walking. So we'll appropriately address the level of exercise or the level of walking, that kind of thing, to make you better prepared for that shore excursion. So I mentioned we're going to be a 5-ship operation, and we're well on our way. So this slide's about 5 months old now. Dead smack in the middle is World Navigator, our ship that's sailing, being towed out for her sea trials, which clearly she passed. So those two middle pictures are World Navigator. Bottom center is the next ship, World Traveler, and you can see how far along she was 4 months ago. She's further than that now. And then the keel has been laid for our third ship, World Seeker. You see that in the bottom right. So what will happen is eventually that ship bottom middle will be towed out for her sea trials. That one on the bottom right will move to the middle in the bottom, and we'll do another one and then another one like that. So we will get to those 5 ships by the end of 2023. We will go to extraordinary destinations offering unique itineraries, and we will have expeditions in the Antarctic and Arctic. Some of the places we go, as I mentioned, we do the traditional destinations for a cruise ship. So for example, this summer we did Egypt and the Greek Isles, Western Mediterranean, where we did the transatlantic crossing. We're doing one Caribbean cruise. We're on that right now. Then we head down to Antarctica for the winter. In the summer of 2022, we'll come back up after finishing 11 Antarctica cruises. We'll come up the east coast of South America. We'll head over to the Mediterranean for a number of cruises. Then the new ship will come out and stay in the Med. World Explorer will go north into the British Isles. She'll do Norway, Iceland, Greenland, and the North Cape, the Baltic. Then both ships will come transatlantic. One will do Central America and come down the west coast of South America to get to Ushuaia. The other will come down the east coast of South America to get to Ushuaia. Antarctica is the biggie, and we'll be there coming up now in just a matter of weeks. So in November, we'll do our first cruises in Antarctica. We have itineraries of 9 nights, 12 night, 2 different 12-night, and a show you those here shortly, in fact, right now. So we have about 9 of the 9-day cruises that you see on the far left. A very unique one in the middle. It is a solar eclipse happening down in that area. It happens in that area once every 400 years. So if you're a fan of solar eclipses, you better get on this one. It shows wait list. I know one cleared yesterday. So we're getting a couple of cancellations, and so that one could become available if you choose. Obviously, for the next 399 years, there will not be one of these. But next year, when we have 2 ships down there, we'll be doing similar itineraries to that, just minus the eclipse. And then on the far right, that's an itinerary where you can see we're going further down the Antarctic Peninsula ice shelf. So if you fancy a longer experience down there, that will be the case. We are certified for ice exploration. We're an ice class ship. We will have a dozen Zodiacs on board that will bring guests onto the ice shelf. We'll have all kinds of naturalists and experts. We'll provide partners that you'll keep, knee boots, binoculars, and other items that you'll use, but those won't make it home with you, which is a good thing because you'll probably have a lot of luggage already anyway. There's an interesting aspect that I want to make at this point, an interesting advantage to us or any ship that carries 200 or less guests. So per the treaties in Antarctica, if you have a ship of 200 guests or smaller, you can land 100 guests at a time, twice a day. The most any ship can put ashore at once is 100. If you're a ship of 300 or less, you can only put 100 ashore once a day. If you're a ship of 500 guests or more, you cannot debark anyone to go ashore. So the larger ships just do a cruise by. We smaller ships can put anywhere from our entire complement on board daily, or in some cases, just the 100 total. So look for a ship like ours if you want to maximize your time on the ice shelf. I mentioned that when you go to destinations like Antarctica, you need to bring basically like your tour operator with you. So all these people on board provide the expertise and the way we get ashore in some cases, these Zodiac captains, but you get a look at the faces of the folks who will provide all your time ashore there. You can see there's 6 on each slide, so about a dozen of them, each with a different expertise, all of them with lots of experience in Antarctica and the Arctic. Our expedition leader, Henry Wolf, who was far left on the first slide, has been to Antarctica over 50 times, and he's a glaciologist, so he's very keen on the whole glacier aspect. Now, I mentioned that we have a charter air program included with Antarctica. So the price you see will include our air. And in the case of Antarctica, we position this jet in Orlando and we'll fly direct to Ushuaia. Ushuaia is literally at the end of the world and not easy to get to. So we will fly, I say direct, I'm not saying nonstop, because the flight is longer than 12 hours, we're going to have to land in Santiago, Chile to change flight crew. We'll allow guests to get off if they wish, then stretch a bit, but we're going to have the best way to get people to Ushuaia. And we're kind of doing a bubble. If you remember, during the pandemic, a couple of the sports teams used bubbles to be able to play their sports. So as we collect all these people in Orlando, we're going to have a separate check-in. We're going to have a day room at a hotel, bring everyone to the airport to our special check-in, put everyone on the plane, give them pajamas, and start treating them like they're on an all-inclusive product on that jet. So it's almost like the cruise will start when you board the jet. The jet will eventually land in Ushuaia. You'll go from the jet to our buses to our ship. The Argentine government was thrilled to see our plan, and we do anticipate this to be a yearly program with Atlas. Now, the rest of the time, we are cruising the rest of the world. And this will be the inaugural itinerary for World Traveler, who will come out next July 15th. And I'm going to show you some of our itineraries, only because even if you've done cruising in Europe, the Med, or Northern Europe, I think as you glance at these itineraries, you'll see ports of call that you probably haven't done. We are a small ship, so we can get into places that the big ships can't. I apologize that these slides coming up the next few are not as sharp as the previous one, but I show them to show you the unique itineraries that we do. So we'll be doing itineraries way up in the Arctic Circle. And so if you don't fancy Antarctica, we'll go the other polar region, and you can see those here. We'll do some neat itineraries that include Iceland, Greenland, the North Cape, and way up above Norway. But we'll do the traditional things. So like the fjords, look at that sailing on the right. It's almost like we're delivering the mail there in Norway, but a fantastic 16-day itinerary. On the left, you've got the British Isles. And by the way, I'm going to tell you, when we go to London, we dock at Tower Bridge. So you can see that in the first two lines there on the slide that maybe you can't read. But a lot of the cruise lines dock in Dover, which is almost 2 hours away on a good day to London. We are right in downtown London. We do the Baltic as well. We can also fit through the Kiel Canal, the Corinth Canal, and when we're in Venice, we can sail down the Grand Canal. While there's a restriction on that for larger ships, we're under the size that is restricted, so we're able to do it. Again, look at these wonderful Mediterranean itineraries. The Croatia, very popular now. You see that in the upper left side. You see itineraries going through the Corinth Canal. Really neat itineraries that we're able to do that the big guys can't. I mentioned as we position next year both ships to Antarctica, one will come down after it comes transatlantic, will go down the east coast of South America. The other will go through the Panama Canal and do a Central America cruise. How many of those have you ever seen? And then we'll come down in 3 different cruises, the west coast of South America en route to doing Antarctica in the winter of 2022/23. I mentioned those 3 canals, the Kiel and Corinth Canal. This is the Corinth. You can see it's a little bit tight. So that's a ship that our owner built that's the same size as the ones we're operating. That one operates for a company called Quark Expeditions, but we're exactly that size. And you can see that you couldn't be much bigger than that and fit through that canal, but that's one of the pluses of a ship our size, is that you get to do that kind of thing. I don't know if you've cruised recently and gotten documents from a cruise line, but a lot of them are going digital, where you just get a piece of paper and that's it. We are old-fashioned, and we're providing the old kits, that pad folio is about the size of an iPad. Not shown are 2 metal luggage tags that will have your names engraved into them with an attachment that definitely won't come off. We feel like the first thing that you receive from us about your cruise should be of the quality that the rest of the cruise will be, so we're going with this nice packet. So kind of recapping, we are an all-inclusive all-the-way product, including round-trip air in all of our itineraries. We have the private jet for Antarctica. We include a shore excursion in every port and have others that are optional and at slight additional cost. We include the emergency evacuation and return insurance. And if you happen to be a military veteran or active, we have a 10% discount for the actual military person. So we are honoring our veterans and our service members in that regard. Our company president and my boss are both Naval Academy graduates, Marine Corps. I was an Army guy, so I get teased daily by those 2 guys. At any rate, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I think we might have some questions. So let me See if I can answer them. When do the shore excursions come out? So right now they're about 6 months before the cruise. So if you were to talk to one of your CruiseWeb agents who are outstanding, they'll be able to go and tell you what shore excursions are offered in that itinerary, if that itinerary is within 6 months of sailing. We hope to get that out further, 8 to 10 months or more, but for now, that's about where we are. When will our 2023, late 2022, next year's Antarctica and all of 2023 come out? We're expecting those to be out in a couple of weeks, early to mid-November. We should be able to project forward into 2023. I don't know if it's the case with some of you folks listening to this presentation, but because the world came to a halt about 18 months ago, a lot of you might have had cruises booked that didn't operate, and you have the future cruise credit that you may have tried to use this year and couldn't, and maybe will use next year. Therefore, you're looking for something more in the future with us. We'll have that shortly. I should have said this when we were on the Antarctica page, but we did, CruiseWeb, being one of our better producers, has a special rate for Antarctica for this year. It's not too late. We still have space on some of those cruises. And again, we have the charter air, so air won't be a problem. We have room on that jet for everyone who goes on the cruise. So you could book late with Atlas and it would not be a problem. We probably will have some specials coming out. Heck, Black Friday's coming up. We'll probably have one there, and for sure the CruiseWeb will be one of our suppliers that will have that sooner than others. So make sure you tell your CruiseWeb agent that you have interest in a certain thing, and when we get that offer, they'll be able to nail it down for you. So I think we're out of time. If there's any additional questions, somebody from the CruiseWeb will get back to you on that. I want to thank you for listening to me. Nobody in my house does. But anyway, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I hope I've created a little bit of interest in Atlas, or I wish I created a lot of interest in Atlas. And make sure you give your CruiseWeb agent a call and come see me on board. I probably won't be on board, but at any rate, I'll get credit for the booking. I appreciate your time and hope to see you one day. Thanks for attending.